Living with rheumatoid arthritis can feel like you're in a constant battle with your own body. But what if you had a clear, powerful strategy to fight back? Well, that's exactly what we're going to build today. We're not just defining RA, we're giving you a two-part plan to start taking control right now.
So, let's start with a really important question. When I say the word arthritis, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's this idea of joints just getting old and wearing down over time, right? And look, for some types of arthritis, that's true. But for rheumatoid arthritis, it's a completely different story. The question isn't about wear and tear, it's about an attack.
And right here, you can see those two different stories side by side. On one side, you've got osteoarthritis, or OA. That's the mechanical wear and tear we were just talking about. But on the other side, that's rheumatoid arthritis, RA. And this isn't just a slow decline. No, this is an active assault. It's an autoimmune attack where your body is the one leading the charge.
Okay, so that brings us to our first major topic, understanding this attack. Because you can't effectively fight an opponent you don't understand. Getting to the bottom of how this autoimmune assault works, well, that's the critical first step to actually fighting back.
So what does autoimmune even mean? Think of your immune system as your body's personal security team. It's supposed to protect you from outside invaders. But in an autoimmune disease, that security team gets confused. It misidentifies your own healthy cells as threats and launches an attack. And for RA, the main target is the synovium, that delicate essential lining inside your joints.
And here's the thing. This attack doesn't just stay put in the joints. That's because RA is what we call a systemic disease. That means the inflammation can literally travel all through your body. It can affect your skin, your eyes, your lungs, even your heart and cardiovascular system. And then there's the fatigue. We're not talking about just being tired. This is a deep, bone-crushing exhaustion that can be completely debilitating.
If you're going through this, I want you to know you are so far from alone. The CDC estimates that about 1.3 million Americans are living with RA right now. It's a really complex condition, and we think it's triggered by a combination of genetics and something in the environment. And it's really important to know that smoking is one of the biggest known risk factors for developing it.
So how do doctors even figure out if it's RA? Well, they're basically detectives, looking for a very specific pattern of clues. One of the big ones is morning stiffness that hangs around for more than half an hour. Another is symmetric pain. You know, if your right wrist hurts, your left one does too. And finally, they can run blood tests to hunt for specific antibodies, like one called anti-CCP, which is a huge red flag for RA.
Okay, we've arrived at what is, without a doubt, the single most important message in this entire explainer. We're talking about treatment. And let's be crystal clear about this. Medication isn't just one of your options. It is your essential shield. It is the absolute non-negotiable foundation of managing RA.
The cornerstone of treatment is a class of drugs called DMARDs. It stands for disease-modifying anti-rheumatic drugs, which is a mouthful, I know. But their purpose is right there in the name. They don't just treat the symptoms. They work to actually modify the disease by stepping in and halting that immune system assault on your joints.
And if you remember one thing, please let it be this. This is a direct quote from the American College of Rheumatology. These drugs are the only thing proven to slow or stop your immune system from permanently destroying your joints. This is so critical because without them, the damage caused by inflammation can become permanent.
But medication, as crucial as it is only part of the strategy. It works best when it's in a partnership with powerful lifestyle changes. So let's dive into our first support pillar, nutrition. We're talking about using food as your ally to help cool that fire of inflammation.
So where do you start? Well, the scientific evidence points very strongly to a Mediterranean style of eating. A big 2017 review of the research found that this approach, which is packed with fatty fish, olive oil, nuts, fruits, and veggies, can actually significantly reduce both pain levels and those inflammatory markers in people with RA. And the science behind why this works is just fascinating. Researchers are now uncovering something they call the gut-joint axis. It's this deep, powerful connection between the health of all the little microbes in your gut and your immune system's behavior. We're learning that an unhealthy gut is really common in people with RA, which means that making your gut healthier could be a key way to help calm down that overactive immune response.
All right, on to our second pillar. And this one tackles a major paradox of living with RA. When your joints are screaming in pain, the absolute last thing you want to do is move. But if you don't move, everything just gets stiffer and weaker. The solution isn't just any movement, it's smart movement.
Smart movement means you need two totally different game plans. When you're in the middle of a flare, your goal is just to preserve what you have. You focus only on gentle, range of motion exercises to keep things from locking up. But when you're in remission, that's your window of opportunity. That's when you can build back your strength with low-impact exercises like swimming, cycling, or Tai Chi, which has been shown to be incredibly helpful.
It's also super helpful to know who to call for backup. A physical therapist or a PT is the person who will create a specific exercise plan to build your strength and improve your mobility. But an occupational therapist, an OT, is an expert in daily life. They are amazing. They can teach you all these clever new ways to do everyday things, like opening a jar or getting dressed, in ways that protect your joints from extra stress.
Now for our third and final pillar. This is one that often gets overlooked, but honestly, it's just as critical as the others: the mind-body connection. This is all about actively managing the incredibly powerful link between your stress levels, your sleep, and how your brain actually processes the sensation of pain.
Anyone with RA knows this cycle all too well. You have a really stressful week, and what happens next? A painful flare. That is not a coincidence. It's biology. Stress hormones like cortisol directly flip on the same inflammatory switches that drive this disease. It's a truly vicious cycle, which means that managing your stress is a form of managing your RA.
This brings us to a really interesting concept that researchers call pain catastrophizing. It's basically getting stuck in a negative thought loop about your pain, just ruminating on it, feeling helpless. And the research is so clear on this. This is not just all in your head. These thought patterns can physically amplify the pain signals your brain receives, making the actual physical sensation of pain worse.
So, what's the antidote to this painful cycle? One of the most powerful tools we have is mindfulness. Think of it like training a muscle, but for your brain. You learn how to observe a sensation, like pain, without that automatic gut punch reaction of fear or panic. And that simple practice can completely change your relationship with pain, creating a little bit of space between the sensation itself and the suffering that it can cause.
So, when you put it all together, it comes down to this: a smart partnership. Your medication is what stops the storm. It's the shield that halts the immune system's attack. But these lifestyle pillars, the nutrition, the smart movement, the mind-body work, that's how you rebuild your house. That's how you make yourself as strong and resilient as possible.
Your doctor is an expert in the disease, but you are the expert on you. You're in charge of your health. So don't be a passive patient. Become the CEO of your own well-being. And you can start right now. It doesn't have to be a huge, overwhelming change. Just choose one of the pillars we talked about. Commit to one tiny, doable action and just start today.
Seriously, don't overthink it. It could be as simple as swapping one sugary drink for a glass of water today, or looking up a 5-minute gentle stretching video online, or trying a 2-minute meditation app. Your journey to taking back control starts with one single step. The only real question left is, what's your first move going to be?